I'm actually leaving here tonight. I'm getting up early. I'm going tomorrow to the Apple Store near me. I'm getting the new iPhone 7.
That's out?
Yeah, well, they did the preview 2 weeks ago. The big release. And then tomorrow
Tomorrow it actually comes out.
Yeah.
So do you have to get in a line or you don't even know until you
I
get
have an appointment. 8:30 in the morning. So I'm leaving here. I probably won't get home from here until midnight, 2 o'clock.
I don't know any articles or anything like what's good about it.
Well, it's waterproof. I'm excited about that. So I'm really into in the summer. I went on a cruise over the summer, and we went snorkeling with sea turtles, which was absolutely amazing. And swimming with the sea turtles, we were out there for an hour and a half. And about it was me, my wife, and my 2 kids. And my wife was behind me, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, I pulled it out of my bathing suit. I had my phone on me.
And it was in the water?
In my shorts, in the water the whole time. But thank God, I never tested it like that. I have a LifeProof case. LifeProof case is waterproof.
Are you serious?
So I pulled it out, and I'm like, God damn it, it's working fine.
Oh my God.
I put it right back in my pocket, and I let it go. So yeah, it was in the sea. It was in the Cozumel, Mexico. It was in the Mexican Ocean for an hour and a half.
Did you then have to remove the case, dry it out?
It was perfectly dry. There was nothing inside of it. I checked it when we got back to the ship. Yeah. So that was really, really cool.
That's amazing.
That was awesome.
So, what's better about the 7?
Well, it's faster
Better
processor,
camera,
better camera. I think it's a 12 or 14 or 16 megapixel camera. I more or less always take pictures of lightsabers.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it takes really good, at least, this 6 takes really good close-ups.
Oh, it's amazing shots.
Yeah.
The detail and the resolution is beautiful.
Especially for
you have a 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 6S or is that
That's
6?
a 6S.
Oh, okay.
So I've been doing the rental. Yeah, I've been doing the rental thing. So I've had it for 12 months, so I can trade it in. And I went to the higher gig. This is a 64 gig.
Okay, yeah.
I went to 128.
Oh, wow.
They don't have 64 anymore. So, but it's $36 a month with the advantage that I could just boom trade it in. Nice.
So it's Saber time. Welcome to Saber Talk.
Woohoo!
Harris, welcome back. It's been a long time. But
Too long.
We got a lot of Saber stuff that has happened. A lot of Saber stuff that is going to happen. There's movies coming out. There's Rebels starting in a week or 2.
I'm excited for that. Love Rebels.
What night is Rebels? The 24th.
I'm not sure. Check on my phone.
The 24th. If you just said the
24th of September?
Wednesday, yeah, if you just said the 28th is Wednesday, then the 24th.
It's coming out that soon? I didn't know it was coming out that soon. The 24th is a Saturday.
Okay,
That's
on Saturday night?
Not this Saturday, next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know Rebels was coming out already.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah, they've been throwing a lot of previews out there, but this is the first time I have been watching all the previews, but I've seen, they say trailer 1 of 3, 2 of 3. I watched 1 of those, I didn't watch all 3.
I didn't catch them all. Yeah, I didn't catch them all, but I've been here and there. I've been, picking up what I haven't seen. As far as let's go back a second. Rebels.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that trailer? Not the trailer, the ending, that season.
I really like the battle between Vader, Ahsoka.
Awesome.
I like the roar, the grunt when his face got cut.
Awesome.
I don't know if we talked. I don't know if when we did our last one. I think it was March. I don't know if the season was up by then. Or,
I don't think it was.
But I liked how the voice acting changed from the Anakin voice actor to the Darth Vader voice.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Very cool.
But I didn't like how it was kind of we don't know exactly what's going on at the end because
I think we'll see Ahsoka
kind of crawled away. Yeah, I think so. I would have liked a more definite ending because my TV, it was so dark. Certain devices I have, one of my TVs is it doesn't show darks very well,
Sure.
And then when I went to buy another TV, I made sure I bought one that was really good darks or whatever. My old laptop, I think I was watching it on this, and it doesn't the darks is hard to see. So I didn't know what Ahsoka was. She was crawling away or something. I didn't.
Yeah, they showed her real small, in the entrance of the
temple,
the temple, the Sith temple. Yeah, killer episode.
Yeah,
killer episode. I'm dying to find out. Is Kanan ever gonna see again, or did he lose his sight forever?
Yeah.
You know. Now I don't want to give any spoilers away. I don't know if you read anything yet.
I have the books, but I didn't like read.
I'm going to give you a little spoiler that I saw. I don't know if it's true or not, but when we come back, it's like more in the future. It's a few years later.
Oh, okay. So that's why Ezra looks older.
Ezra looks older. Yeah. Yes.
Like, did we get any view on like what lightsaber he's using?
Because
they showed him twirling around and stuff like that.
I think he's going to be using a green bladed saber this season. I don't know if that's true. I did. So you just Google it, and little things come up, and little spoilers. And I think what happens is the studio puts out a what do they call it? Like a synopsis of where the story's going to go, and they give a little history on I can't think of his name now. What's his
Ezra?
name? Ezra. Jeez.
Yeah, I want to see if there's.
I'm getting old. My brain's starting to go. See if you can find it on there. Yeah, you might see something on there if you type them up.
Like the green cross-guarded one he picked up. They're showing.
Yeah, that's the one. You guys can't see this, but that's the one he picked up in the end of the episode that he finds. But if you look here, you can tell he's definitely older.
This is what he's using, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to see it in there.
I don't know if some people on the forums, already are making that or know the specs on that or whatever, but
he definitely looks older. Like I think in the last episode he was more like maybe.
I think he was supposed to be 15.
12 years old. Yeah, here he looks like he's like 15, 16 maybe.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Cut his hair short.
I like the green blade.
Yeah, looks good. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll find out in a couple weeks. But I love him. Ezra's cool.
Yeah.
Kanan's cool. Love Ahsoka. Love Ahsoka. Hey, I want to throw this out there. You guys like my new shirt? I don't know if you can see it. It's Darth Vader playing the drums with lightsaber drumsticks. This was a gift from a coworker.
Those drums aren't going to last long.
What's that?
Those drums aren't going to last long.
No, I'll cut them up in pieces. This was from a coworker / a very old friend of mine. Cody Long gifted this for me. He was out at the mall. He saw it. He's also a drummer. He saw it at the mall. He said, "That's Harris." So he bought this for me. Tonight's actually, I did promise him that I would wear it to a gig. I did not wear it to a gig yet. Tonight's the first night I'm wearing it. I stopped at a Wawa on the way here, and I'm walking in, and some dude goes, "Cool shirt." And I'm like, "All right, awesome." I got props on it. So thank you, Cody. Cody Long. Cody's family owns a gym in the Northeast, actually close to Northeast Philly. It's called Greg Long's Gym. So give them a little plug. But thank you, Cody. Love the shirt. And it's getting props already, man.
Awesome. It definitely gets props when it includes lightsabers.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And the galactic
the bass drum
symbol.
is the on the bass drum.
Yeah.
It's killer. So how's your summer, man?
It went fast.
Too fast.
I've been working on a lot of projects, got a lot of things going. I was just down there showing you in the garage, like a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to ask you an MHS question, but maybe if you want to go into the blaster discussion first, because I really really liked the blaster that you showed me when you first walked in. Even though this is Saber Talk, we love all the props, and as we're going to talk about, the one prop leads to another, leads to another, leads to another.
True.
So if you get into lightsabers and you love Star Wars, you're going to eventually want, a belt
for
your saber, and then eventually you're going to want a blaster maybe or something like that.
Yep.
And there's even electronics now, or for the past 10 years that work with the blasters or even the simpler toys.
Plucker Labs Blaster Core.
Yeah, like you brought over this Han Solo replica blaster, which has sound effects.
That was originally a Ruby's plastic Han Solo blaster. If you go on YouTube and you type in DL44 Han Solo blaster, a lot of people are taking this. This was $15 on. I got it on Amazon.
Them, over for me. He
I bought
painted
one
this
for
one black
for Anthony.
But this is how it comes.
That's
so
how they come.
You can paint it.
So yeah, what I did was I did some work to it. Up here on the flash hider, I took out the little plastic core, and I drilled some holes into the flash hider. So, well, let me take you back a sec. Anthony and I went to Comic-Con. That was the beginning of the summer.
And that, what was it, April?
Maybe even earlier. Yeah, maybe April, May. And one of the dealers at Comic-Con was selling airsoft guns. Mm-hmm. And I happened to look down on the table, and there was it's the broom handle Mauser replica in the airsoft. And that is the basis. The broom handle Mauser was the basis of the Han Solo gun. So I bought one. It was $10. It was a plastic one. The first thing I did when I got home is I took a hacksaw and I hacked off the barrel, you know. And it still works. It still shoots. The only thing I started getting parts for it, and the first part I got was the metal flash hider. And once I put that metal flash hider, I got that on eBay. Once I put that on there, just the plastic didn't feel right with the metal flash hider. So I did some little investigating, and I found that they make something called a Denex broom handle Mauser, or a C96 replica. And what Denex is, Denex makes all metal training guns for police, military. It's a metal gun, doesn't shoot. The barrel of it doesn't even have a hole in the center. It's a solid piece. But it's heavy. It has weight. I found one with wood handle props. The original Han Solo blaster had the original wood grips on it, on the grips. So I bought the Denex Mauser. This is the Denex Mauser. And then what I did was I took the flash hider off the plastic one and I put it onto here. And then actually I had the scope. This was a scope from a BB gun I had as a kid. I still had it. It wasn't exactly right. For the purists, you'll say, that's not the right scope. But it's close enough for me.
It looks great.
It looks good. There was a mounting piece right here that you could tune the scope. I took that off. Mm-hmm. And actually, this little piece right here, if you'll notice, you'll take a look, and I'll show you guys close in the camera. What do you think of that? That's the scope adjustment. Mm. That I put together. It did not have that on there originally. That's 4 fender washers glued together.
It's legit and solid.
Legit and solid. That's a screw from a hard drive. Just looked cool. Mm-hmm. And then the piece that it sits on is just a, I think it cost me about 35 cents. That was just a metal L bracket from Home Depot. And
you
I cut
mean
it.
This part here?
No,
these two parts?
Actually, if you look underneath
I see.
that little L bracket right there, that actually is just a little L bracket from Home Depot. I think it cost 35 cents. I cut it down, and I used some JB Weld, good solid epoxy, and that gave me the look on that scope. So I could buy the scope. What's the name of the guy? I forget the guy I bought. The mount for the scope was pretty much he makes them, but he doesn't really sell them a lot. I can't think of the name. I'm going to throw the site who made that.
I mean, this one's so nice and heavy.
It's all metal. It's all metal.
It feels like the real thing must be the real prop.
Todd's Costumes. That's where I bought the Denex Mauser. I bought the flash hider off of eBay. That was about $50. The broom handle Mauser, the replica, that was about $80. Came with the wood grips. I had the scope already. Since I was a kid, I had that scope. I actually had that mounted to a Nerf gun over the years. And I modified a Nerf gun. And then the only thing I had to buy was the scope mount. Nobody makes that scope mount. That's a one-of-a-kind piece. You can't find that anywhere. So Todd's Costumes, toddscostumes.com. Throw that out to him. He made that scope mount, and the front piece here, the grill, is that was about $10. That is a 3D printed part off of eBay, and I put it all together. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a Han Solo blaster.
It's legit.
It's legit.
I think so.
You know, it's badass. The purists might say that's not the right scope on there. They might say that the flash hider's not right, but for me, when I look at it, it's as real as it gets. You know. So here, let me take this up here.
It feels real.
Show this up here. Yeah. Show this up here on camera. So you can tell the original scope did not have this adjustment here. It was one solid piece. This was the 4 fender washers that I put together. It is a real working scope. I don't know if you can see through there. There are 4 crosshairs on there. It is a real working scope. The Denex broom handle can be cocked. I'll show you this. and it can be shot. I don't know if you can see the trigger housing, but it's about as real as you can get. It is a aluminum flash hider, they call that. I weathered the flash hider. It came chrome. I put some black flat spray paint on it, and I started brushing it off, just using a dry paper towel while it was still wet. And it gave us a nice weathered look.
It does look like it was fired.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it looks that's the look I was going for. Burnt.
Yeah,
if you will,
burnt.
you know. Yeah, it's supposed to look burnt and well used. I weathered it up a little bit, you know. So I figured we'd talk about that tonight.
Nice,
and, I love this blaster.
Yeah, really nice.
And that got me on the kick of building this. This is a $15 toy.
That one came first?
That one came first, actually.
Okay.
This is just a throw around, you know. And it's got some sound in it.
Like you had pointed out to me before, was that they really are
pretty close
in size. So for that toy that's made out of plastic, just for the shape, obviously not the weight, but you could do something about that if you wanted to.
You can. There are guys on the internet that actually opened it up, and they got like steel bars from a Home Depot and cut them and glued them together and would insert them into sections to give it weight. So, you know.
And obviously the hollow nature of the plastic one would give you the option to put something higher grade for the sound if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Although there might be better options for that.
Well, you can. I mean, look, if you wanted to gut something like that, or even mine, my good blaster here, you could open that up. I've seen guys take blasters that are similar, made out of the Denex Mausers, and they get that Plector Labs blaster core. Yeah. And they insert the blaster core into these.
Yeah, I would say that would be worth putting it into. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, you know, some people might.
Maybe this one would be if you.
This takes 2 AA batteries.
Because this isn't done. You were saying you were gonna spray some some different color paint on here, and kind of weather it.
I'm practicing my weathering skills. This comes orange and white, as Anthony showed you. And Anthony, that's a gift for you. That one there.
Thank you. Yeah.
I figured we could have fun maybe if we both weather them.
That comes with that sound.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we could both weather them, and then next time on Saber Talk, we could compare them and see how see what they look like. But my weathering process, everybody's a little different. Some guys use a dry brushing. I hit that with a few coats of black, just flat black. That's a base coat or a primer coat. Next coat, I might do this weekend. I just got to pick up some silver. I'm going to hit it with silver. And then I'm going to hit it again with black over top. I saw one guy on YouTube, actually. He does a mustard trick. Did you ever see that?
No.
He paints it silver, and he takes a brush, a paintbrush, a little fine paintbrush, and he puts some mustard. Yes, mustard, like you use on a hot dog, in a cup. And he paints it on there, okay? In little spots, little details, like a little mustard here, a little mustard here, a little mustard here, a little mustard here. And then he spray paints over the whole thing again black. And now he uses a paper towel and he wipes off the mustard, and on top of the mustard is the black paint. So the mustard, when it's wiped off, reveals the silver underneath, giving it that real weathered look.
Oh, I was going to guess that it was going to look like rust or something.
Yeah, you can do different colors. You can put some brown in there and there's silver and give it a rust look. The sky's the limit, you know. So that's only a first coating on there. But I just did that last night. I was in my little workshop playing down there, and just did that while I was playing down there, you know.
Very cool.
So yeah, neat stuff, fun stuff. Just shows to show you, you don't have to spend hundreds. You can spend $15 and have fun with some plastic and do it in your basement. Can of spray paint's like $3, you know.
Yeah, I mean, one of the coolest things that I saw at your house, or the coolest thing I saw at your house when I came to go to Comic-Con a couple months ago, was this Freddy glove. And I think that...
Don't worry, we're still on Saber Talk.
I think this relates to sabers because, it's made of metal.
It's all metal.
It's from a movie. It's a prop that you had to make on your own if you wanted the ultimate realism, right?
Yeah. As a kid, I loved the Freddy Krueger movies. Always wanted a real glove. And I don't know, again, for the purists out there, I don't know if you remember, but the original, the first one, the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the one that I know of.
Yeah, I mean, there were 6 or 8 already, you know?
That's the one that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger's been killed and reborn like 1,000 times. But basically, in the beginning of the movie, you don't see Freddy, you see his hands, and you see him in the boiler room building the glove.
Yeah.
Okay? So I took that and I ran with it. And I watched that segment over and over and over until I saw basically how Freddie built his glove. Now you can buy, there's a couple companies out there that make replicas. The finger blades are plastic. They're plastic chrome. They look like fake plastic chrome. That wasn't good enough for me. I wanted real deal metal, okay? So basically what I did was I went to a plumbing shop and I bought some copper plumbing pipe, and I took the fingers and I used a Dremel and I cut the fingers out. They're basically copper plumbing pipe. And I stink at welding, which if you can see, I welded the blades to the fingers. That's actually, I used a heat torch with some solder, a lot of flux, and I cut out those blades. Those blades were actually just half-inch metal bars that you can buy at Home Depot. You buy them in like 4-foot sections, and I cut them up on a Dremel, and I grinded them down and ground them. The tips are a little sharp, but they are not sharp to the blade where the blade edge is not sharp. Run your finger on those and show them that they're, you know. Yeah, so you can sharpen them, but they won't hold an edge because it's not like a good steel.
Stabbing only.
Yeah, it looks the part, and I built a Freddie glove. And the reason we're talking about this, Anthony saw that at my house, and he thought that was really cool. And what that was is that was the beginning of my metal work that's taken me into shroud work on sabers. Because if you look at these fingers, these are just plumbing pipes.
And you
these
had
are
to shape
1 inch.
that.
Had to shape it a little bit, cut it, grind it, drill it.
It's fantastic.
If you look on the inside, and this is exactly how Freddie's glove was made. There are copper rings that I cut the rings out of more steel pipe. And if you look inside, I welded those rings to it.
What a lot of work.
It took me a lot of work. It took me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to make it.
And you were like furiously going at it with this?
Yeah, well, what I did at the time, I was working at a store that was open late at night and didn't get many customers. So I would sit in the office and, you know, and just work on that until a customer came in. And then I could, you know, could work on it, go back again. I did it at the store while I was working late night. I no longer work at that business. But basically that led me into this, which if you look, you guys have seen this saber here before on Saber Talk. This is just old copper, and this is copper pipe as well. Same thing. This copper pipe came from Home Depot. Lowe's has it also. Cut in sections, filed the edges down. This backsplash, I couldn't figure out how to make that. The back piece where everything bolts onto the glove. Let me close the bolt. Your computer was on it. Turn it over again a sec. The backsplash here is just a piece of a 2-inch copper pipe that I cut. I made a line, I screwed a line down it, and I heated it. And by heating it, it got soft, and I was able to hammer it down. Exactly. I also found some good old-fashioned split rivets. These have a head on them, but on the inside, you split it so it holds together. So all the fingers are articulate. You can move it.
That's just the best.
Very cool. Very cool. And yes, I have scared the shit out of many of my neighbors and the kids on Halloween wearing that glove.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part of the costume is done. All you need is the sweater, a little bit of makeup.
Which I have. I have the sweater, I have the hat, and I have a nice rubber mask that gives you the Freddie look. So, yeah, I've been scaring kids in my neighborhood for the past 15 years.
You know, there's just a few things that I wanted to mention about this, which is just basically the artistry that went into this, and either happened or happened by mistake along the way, and it's just something that you're going to notice in your projects. You know, like for instance, these claws here. There is a texture on the claws that is like a rough texture. Like if you work with metal, almost like some parts maybe like the tool skipped across the metal. Like, you know, it maybe some imperfection, but there's a shape to each one, a similar shape. The detail on each thing, it's like happenstance, or Harris did it on purpose. Either way,
a little of both.
You know, it looks so legit and cool. The copper parts, you know, the copper has a life of its own, so that's coming through.
Definitely true. This is old. I did this 15 years ago.
And you know, I don't know. I just think that this is.
How's it feel wearing it?
It's cool.
You feel like Freddy Krueger.
It's
right?
really cool. Yeah, I almost wish I had the sweater on and all that, and it's getting closer to Halloween, so this is like making more sense right now. You know, even the choice of the glove, like where it starts, where your project starts.
What I did with the glove, actually, that was a glove that I used while I, always wear protection stuff. That was actually a pair of leather gloves that started out brand new. And as I was cutting these pieces, I always wore gloves because metal heats up very fast when you're cutting it with a Dremel. And I'm impatient. So as I'm cutting it, instead of burning my fingers, I just held it with the leather glove. And then I weathered it a little bit more. I painted it. I took the painting off. I actually, when I welded a lot of these fingers on, one of the things that I think is really cool is you can see on some of the fingers, the weld, the lead welds drip down.
But it actually helped like the ring.
Yeah, it held to the ring, and it just gives it a little neat appearance, like it was homemade, like Freddy really built this in his dungeon basement,
And it also seems like it's strong, and these aren't going to come off.
They're not going anywhere. It's nice and welded on there.
Any ones that I tried to make as a kid, were such shit that was nothing close to spending a week on this. Like you said, you spent a week, and you were an adult, and you put your efforts in, and really nice piece came out that you have, like you said, 15 years later, whatever it is.
People tell me I should always make them and sell them. Not only these sabers, I do. I've sold sabers, but I always end up making that one project, and then I don't want to sell it. I fall in love with it. My wife always wants to kill me.
And it comes out so good. What you'd find if you made, so I don't see any room for improvement on this, but my comment was going to be, if you did make a second one, it would be better, whatever that would be.
It could be.
But I think,
for a prototype.
Like I said, even the imperfections or anything that is not shiny, that's Freddy Krueger. Like, just like in the Star Wars world, things are weathered.
Dirty.
Things aren't brand new.
Right.
That's another reason why this kind of fits into, the Star Wars discussion, because it's a weathered movie prop. And all those similarities between sabers, being copper, being metalwork required. Look at that welding that had to go into that. At least that doesn't have to happen
it's tough.
with the sabers.
Back then, I didn't even have clamps. I would hold those.
Oh my god!
and weld it at the same time, and it took me a few tries. I mean, I had a few times where it fell off, and then cool thing, the flux that helps hold the metal together. We use flux when we do our electronics. I overdid it on the flux, which was, like you said, which was a mistake technically, but the flux took on its own sheen to some of it and gives it that dirty, gives it that character to it. Yeah, that dirty, weathered look.
So cool, because every part of this glove looks like, like you said, you had to weather the glove as well. So the blades and the copper and the glove look like they're the same age.
Yeah.
And that's pretty important. It's not like on your saber here, it's not like you have one old looking part and then something new. Everything's the same.
Yep.
So those are things to keep in mind, like when you're making stuff. I think like we said, if you were ever to make more, there would inevitably be improvements in the way you did it. Maybe even that no one could see, but you're like, oh, I actually did that one in 3/4 of the time.
That's what I was just going to say. You just took the words out of
it. You knew about
because you knew how the
thing. You knew where to source the part or something. You didn't have to kind of come up with it on the fly, which happens.
A lot of people I've seen build something similar. They go out and use a standard pop rivet. You know what a rivet gun is. And the thing with the pop rivet that I didn't like, that wasn't on the original glove.
Oh.
The original glove had this type of a flat head, no hole in the middle. You know what I mean? Because the pop rivet, if you know how a pop rivet works, it's a nail through the little rivet piece, and you use a rivet gun, and it spreads out, clamps it together, spreads out, and then that nail breaks off.
And there's no give on those.
There's no give. There's no give. Where this, yeah, it's actually, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can show you on here. I'll show you first. There are actually split rivets in there that you push in, and then you bend.
That's
Let me see if,
cool.
Yeah, and that's what they used on the original one in the movie. I don't know if you can see that, but right there, that's a split rivet that you actually put the rivet through. It's a flat rivet head. You split it through, and then you split the rivet, and it holds in place. So, a little attention to detail.
Yeah, it's almost giving me ideas already about, maybe there's a possibility for some kind of hinge at some point that's required, and you could use that method, maybe for some kind of belt.
Yep.
prop or
Yep.
or some kind of saber thing. I can't
Yep.
imagine. Maybe some kind of dual saber thing could utilize something like that.
Yep, cool
That
stuff.
or you know what's even more important for something like that when people are making their armor. If you were going to make armor out of those copper, maybe even just a gauntlet, you could use that method
Yeah.
and have it look space age. Maybe put a little screen
Yep.
that lights up, a couple blinking lights,
Yep.
and that would look like from the Star Wars world.
Nice gauntlet. Yeah, you could do that. Copper works well for that. You can get, like 6-inch. It's expensive. It's not cheap, but they do make like 6-inch copper pipe.
Mm-hmm.
So that if you were to take that copper pipe and cut it down one side lengthwise and split it, it's, keep in mind, now you have a 12-inch piece of copper going around, So it's pretty wide, and that would be wide enough to make a nice gauntlet.
Yeah.
Let me throw something your way. One of the things you were the one, even though I've done this years ago, you were the one that actually got me started in doing shroud work. Up till then, I was only doing MHS parts and, customizing the MHS parts here and there, but no shroud work.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing your shroud work downstairs in your laboratory, I fell in love with it. It was just amazing. But one of the things that annoys me is I hate sanding until that edge is beautiful, smooth, beveled nice, looks good. How do you do it? And I'm going to ask.
Unfortunately, there's no quick way because
it's time consuming.
Some people will go to a Dremel, put the sander attachment on a Dremel or some kind of rotary tool.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like once you shape your shroud, once you cut your shroud, maybe you've already used hand files. You could have spent hours, right?
Correct.
And I feel like if you take the Dremel to it, sometimes you get the skip. Zip, it's going to skip. What if it could ruin some part of your design? So at the same time, even though that could happen while you're sanding by hand, some people have sent me the tricks that I guess fix the scratches and stuff like that. I think maybe you knew of one of them already, which was the aluminum. My friend Bane sent me the Cad Bane sent me the
on Facebook.
tip.
What's up, Bane? Good dude. I talk to him all the time.
Okay, cool. So I think it's a quadruple zero aluminum.
A polish.
What do you call it? It's like a aluminum. I want to say aluminum foil, but what I mean is that like steel wool type of thing. But it's, the number on it's like 0000 or something like that.
Real fine.
That takes out a scratch, a blemish, but sometimes that Dremel can do it deep.
Goes deep.
You don't want that to happen after you've cut the shroud. So I would say the sort of tip there is to if you're tired and you don't want to do it, and you don't want to spend that time, give it a break.
Take a break.
Come back 4 hours later, go eat, come back the next day, come back the next week, because then you'll be into doing it again. The other cool thing about waiting is that something will come into your mind that's like a new way at it.
Mm-hmm.
Or a new thing like, oh, I'm glad I actually didn't continue because now I can drill that hole through there that I needed, or thank God I didn't do that. I almost was gonna drill into the shroud, and thankfully I didn't because now I realize that would have ruined it. So it's good to wait and then come back to the project. I think sometimes I have a few things going on at once, so I can you always jump
around. Anthony posts a lot of videos up where you'll see his shop in the background, and we've done a couple insider episodes where you can see the shop. Right now I walked into his garage/laboratory. You got about 8 projects going on down there at the same time, it looks like. So I don't have the attention to detail for that. One of the things I like to do is I'll cut the parts out. I stencil it on with a Sharpie. I'll cut the part out rough, always leaving plenty of room for mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to the hand file, and I don't know if you do this or you would do it like part in hand, file in hand, or are you like put it in a vise and then go at it?
No, I don't use the vise. I actually, I usually rest it on the top of either like the drill press plate or the workbench.
Mm-hmm.
And grip it with my left hand, and I'm righty, so then I'm filing with the right hand.
I'm similar, but I don't have a drill press. I just do it by hand. I hold the part and go at it with a file.
I found,
a little at a
trying
time.
so many different methods, like tying the part down or vicing it. I think that here's the reason: the angles, right?
It's tough.
You want to be able to grip that because as you want to file, you want to get different angles. So it's like playing the violin, right? And you don't want to have the violin strapped down. You want to be able to move it a little bit.
So you're actually moving both hands.
You're moving both hands.
I find that I'm similar with that.
Yeah,
yes.
and then sometimes you are going to rest it down.
Yep.
Maybe you're going to do this, but other times there's going to be some kind of, I would say usually some part of the part is touching. I put a towel down. I think we had showed this in one of the videos. So you put a towel down so you don't scratch the part. And then you can have that bit of rotation plus the firmness of the table. Maybe there's a hole that you need to drill into, or you want to put a control box. Now TCSS, the Custom Saber Shop, will do that part for you, but
he has under the services on the drop down.
I think you have to know where you want at that point. A lot of the times I don't know exactly precisely to the millimeter where that's going to be until I see all the parts together. I'm examining, and
things change.
I make my mark, and stuff
things
like
change.
that.
Yes.
So what you could do there is, drill a hole or 2 or 3 pilot holes, and then you file them out to the size you want with your hand files. I
have a bunch. I don't know about you. I have about 30 different files at home.
Yeah.
Small ones, rat tail files they call them.
And I find
little
some
triangular
are
files
good for certain things.
Bigger, you got to switch up.
Yeah. So and they aren't too much. So if you want to shape your own parts and you go let's say go to Amazon for instance, I think one of the sets for the small hand files was about $7.
Yeah, they're cheap.
$9, and then if you go to the bigger, there's ones that are bigger, and then you can go to the really big ones. That the bigger ones are ones that sometimes I lay those down on the table,
and then you'll run the part on it,
and then I'll run the part
do that myself.
along if you want a straight edge or something, so you'll be kind of skimming that along on the table. The best tip I ever learned was to use hand files.
Yeah,
you
taught me that.
And I was scouring the internet, the website, the forum, and I was on FX Saber forums. This is probably 2009. How are these parts coming out? Vader's Vault was like a huge influence for me. With their design, it just continues to be epic. Their designs are so awesome. And Mad Cow from Genesis Custom Sabers, his shroud work is so perfect.
Precise.
And once I dug and kept reading every post, Alan from Vader's Vault had said one time, use hand files. And then that was an epiphany for me. So I had to, order them. And because I didn't know what came in between. I knew something was in between cutting it with the Dremel and sanding. But what was in between? Well, the hand files in between. Because like you said, your cut might be imperfect. But you can go in there and make that nice Graflex shape that you might want for your shroud, or whatever. You can take a Sharpie, you can mark out the piece, and then wipe that off with your metal cleaner at the end.
The Sharpie comes off the metal real easy.
Yeah.
It almost I've actually wet my thumb and rubbed it, and it comes right off.
Right.
My steps, what I want to touch on is one of the things to me that tedious work. Of the filing and the shaping.
Isn't that part of it?
It's tedious. I actually believe it or not, I like to sit on my couch. My wife wants to kill me because there's metal dust flying around. But I'll sit on my couch and I'll put on a show, a TV show, or my wife and kids will be watching a TV show, and here I am just sitting on the couch and filing and filing. I'll put like an old hand towel or a shop towel on my lap to catch the shavings. But for me, it's draw it out. Cut the part, leaving a nice, I want to say about 3/8 of an inch, maybe about 1/4 of an inch overkill. And I can always go back in. You can always go back in and cut more.
Yeah, you can't.
But if you cut too much, you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You can't add on.
As I get braver and braver, I try to
go a little closer.
Go as close to the line as possible.
Yes.
Another thing I found is when you're saying that you I don't know if you watch the TV, you say the TV's on, I don't know if you're glancing at it all. One thing I find myself, I can't glance at anything. I can have something playing, I have a podcast playing, or I have a movie, usually it's a movie every time that I've seen already. Now, if I put up a movie that I haven't seen, I'm going to be
staring
like
at
looking, and I can't. If I look away, what's going to happen is zip.
You're going to miss it.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking.
That's my problem. I do that. I look away a minute and I do that. You know.
And then because what I've learned is if you make that small mistake, something glides off. That hour of fixing it, it's just not worth looking away. You know, so I put on something I've already seen. One of the
I do typically have a show on, and I'm going to say like 95.
Stop filing and look up.
Yeah, 95% of my attention is on the piece. Maybe 5% of my attention is, you know.
Yeah, because I can listen and work because my eyes are, you know, but I can't like look
Plus,
away.
Plus, it helps. I don't know if you noticed this. Having that going in the background helps take away the redundance of that over and over.
Right, and if you can like a lot of times I don't know if it's because it's been summertime. I think it happens in the winter too that I am just sweating. Like I'm telling you, because like you said, it's repetitive.
I keep the fan on
actually
next to me.
Yeah, I sometimes have the fan going, and you're working, and I'm sweating. So if I can catch a giggle off the podcast that I start, you know, if I can catch a joke or something like that, then I'm giggling. Like you said, takes my mind off of just standing there sweating.
Right. Yeah.
And also,
you're working. I've actually worked on projects where the sweat is just dripping down off me. You know.
Right.
I keep my little shop that I have in my basement. I keep it very cool. My wife and I fight. I try and lower the temperature.
Well, I love the wintertime because, like you said, my thing's in the garage.
Yeah.
The temperature in the garage will go down till probably, if it gets its coldest out. I mean, we're in New Jersey. It can get kind of cold. It can go down to maybe 20 degrees outside, but the garage isn't going to go below 40.
Yeah, and it's just cool enough that it keeps you cool while you're working.
That is just cool. Like that's what I'd like it to be almost all the time.
Yeah.
But in the summer, you know, it's
for me. My shop's in the basement, so my basement is underground. It's actually
so you get that cool air even in the summertime, and so
Well, and then the other thing I want to touch on. So my steps are cut, file. I do tend to Dremel. I'll use a Dremel wheel just to bring it into shape. The Dremel wheel helps if you, instead of filing down, like let's say, you know, you look at a piece, and I don't know about you, I actually do most of my work by eye. I'm better with my eye than I am a ruler. You've seen my shroud work. It's nice. It's symmetric. I'm able to tell.
It takes a lot of time. You know, it takes a lot of like, you got to rest the piece
eyeball
down.
Look.
Turn it around. Is that angle
Look
the
at
same?
both sides.
Is that angle the same? Is that
see if it's cut on even on both sides. But what I do is I cut, file, and I'll go to the Dremel. And for me, the last steps are like a heavy sandpaper, like maybe a 400 grit. But I have an AutoZone in my area, and next to the spray cans, the paint cans, and like the body shop stuff, they have, which I can't find it anywhere else. But they have sheets of 2,000 grit sandpaper. Yeah. And 2,000 grit, it's almost like just a rough paper.
I've gotten up to 3,000.
Oh, I've never seen a 3,000.
And that's really cool because
that's really nice.
You get that nice
clean clean to it. And then after that, I'll go to a polish. And I know you have a polishing wheel. I usually use, and I think yours is from it also, from an auto place, like an aluminum mag wheel polish. I use something similar. Mine's in a container. I think yours is in a tube. Yeah. A little on a rag and just hand polish. Yeah,
and I actually, that's my favorite part because that means like you're done. Pop. Yeah, that means it's you know, when it's ready to be polished, it's ready to be shown usually, and that's the fun part. Yeah. There's one thing that I do sometimes is as far as after the cutting, sometimes I go in with the cutting wheel, that metal cutting wheel on the Dremel. And you can kind of shape and sand a little bit
careful.
With that.
Using the flat edge or using the sharp edge?
Kind of it depends how rough it is.
I tend to use the flat.
Yeah, I can go if it's like if it's not very rough, you can go along the flat side of the cutting disc, and it acts as a little bit of a sanding motion, but I won't do that for anything fine.
Let me throw this in there also. In my file collection, most of my files are flat, but I do have a couple files that are shaped like a half moon.
The round ones.
The rounded edges. The rounded edge really help if you're doing something like a Graflex cut, like the Graflex has that S cut to it. It really helps because that roundness enables you that, like here's the roundness right here, helps you get into that corner.
Right.
To get that. It's tough to do with a flat file.
An actual corner, make it
rounded, give it that rounded edge to it. So there's some tips for you as far as, you know, doing shrouds. And I mean, like I said, you're my shroud mentor. Even though I did that 15 years ago, you know, I'll be honest with you, until you mentioned it at my house when you came over, it never really popped in my brain that, you know, that was me doing shroud work 15 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's neat. Stuff like that, it just reminds me of that because my mind was like kind of expanded when I went back to college and I had this teacher, Professor Aristopoulos, for 3D art. And he taught us about things in metal, things in plastic, things in acrylic, different materials. And he asked us to come to one of his shows one time. And a couple of the students went to the show. It was like, you know, at nighttime at one of these galleries. And what his personal artworks were actually things like this, like props, fake weapons from ancient times. So he had, you know, Roman swords, those short swords.
Right.
He had the helmets. But if you touched
Love the helmets, all metal.
Yeah,
like a metal bucket.
It looked like that, but I think a lot of it was different materials. So some things were acrylic, parts with, you know, plastic, but it looked like it was a metal helmet. I don't know what the swords were made out of, but they looked like a sword. You know, awesome. So a lot of this, I think, you know, without exposure to that stuff, you know, you will have a harder time understanding like what actually can be done with materials that are in the world to get the look that you're looking for.
Right.
in some of these things. And you know, and a lot of the cool stuff about you know, being in our time is we have like a lot of the working props. So obviously like our lightsabers do something. The blaster makes a sound. We know that there's the blaster core, that blasters can be upgraded. It's just so many levels.
How cool is it that, you know, the original Star Wars, the New Hope, or A New Hope, you know, came out in 76, 77, right? And how old were you?
I wasn't here yet.
You weren't here yet. I was born in 66, so I was 10. Just to know that, you know, George Lucas and his team took these flash handles and made them look like lightsabers. And today, we have those same flash handles, and people are actually reproducing them. You know, we see the Graflex 2.0 now, and they're beautiful pieces. They look just like the originals. But now, today, we can have a lightsaber that has electronics in it, that actually does have a blade that we can fight with, you know?
Yeah, crazy.
It's amazing, you know? Yeah. It's amazing how the, you know, like the same thing, you know, and again, I know this is saber talk, but my, you know, my realms branch out a little bit. I'm a comic book fan. You know, I am, God forgive me for saying this on a Star Trek, on a Star Wars thing, but I am a Trekkie too. I love both. I think there's room in the world for both Star Wars and Star Trek. And it's just last week was the 50th anniversary. One of the, you know, I meant to bring it. I forgot to bring it. I'll bring it next time. I just purchased a communicator from the original series. It was $150, which I have communicators that do nothing that were $500 that I bought at conventions 20 years ago. But this communicator is a Bluetooth communicator. It's made by the One Company. It actually has Bluetooth. It's connected to my phone. I can put my phone in my pocket.
And use this.
You call me, the communicator, beep, 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 and I flip it, and I can hold the whole conversation
on
this communicator.
That is really cool.
And it's just, it has lights, and the Moray, if you know what the Moray is, the little speaker grill, that was originally a stopwatch, but that actually turns. And it functions.
Wow.
Just like, and so it was $150.
Yeah, like that is kind of spelling the future of all our different props.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you said, this gun here was $15. It makes a sound.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's about the same size as the DL44.
Yeah, the real deal.
Now you say that the
ones on the movie, they didn't make any sounds.
Right. And now the communicator actually is kind of blurring the lines of like, what world are we in? Are we in the Star Trek world? When you pull that thing out.
Yeah.
It's like if you were at a convention and you had the full getup on, and that actually works as your phone.
Yeah,
that's
incredible.
Pretty interesting.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It has like 40 different voice clips in it. It's got Spock, Uhura.
Oh, really? You mean it's almost like they
Bones.
could talk back to you?
Yeah, well, it's actually the buttons. There's 2 buttons on it, and depending upon the 2 buttons, one button is actually, I mean, they're very tiny buttons, but it is actually a joystick. You can push it up, down, left, right, and you can push it, and the other button is a push button, and almost like code work. Like if you go up, up, down, down, left, right, you'll get the communicator, and between going up, up, you know, Bones will say one thing, and then you can respond to that, and then you go down, down, you know, Bones will say another thing, and you can have a full-on conversation with all these characters.
That's crazy.
From the show.
That's
you know?
crazy, yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool. It's really cool. And not, you know, I don't, again, I'm sorry, Star Wars diehard fans, but I am a fan of both, you know. Let me throw this out here, too. One of the things Anthony learned while we were at the convention, Anthony learned that I am a huge Green Lantern fan. And I was looking at the, there was a guy selling Green Lantern rings, and I have this Green Lantern ring on here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to throw Anthony a prop, because as I'm looking at it, I turn around, and he picked one up. He bought it for me. Thank you, brother. You man. So, here, let me show this. This is like about as real or as legit as you could get as far as Green Lantern goes.
And they actually had the different heroes' rings.
Yeah, they had a bunch of different ones. They
Flash
had
rings.
Yeah, they had brass ones that were
Superman ring.
Superman, Batman, the Flash.
But you know, it doesn't make as much sense as that.
As this,
Maybe
yeah.
the Flash one, because I think the Flash costume.
Yeah, he had a
comes
ring
out,
that the costume would pop
so
out.
that makes
and
sense.
then what was the other one?
They had a Wonder Woman ring.
The Future League, not the Justice
They had
League.
a Cyborg.
Cyborg. The I forget what the flight ring. The Legion, the superheroes from the future in the comic book realm. They used a ring that Brainiac 5, I think, created, and that ring gave them the power of flight.
Oh, cool.
In that story. And they did have exact replicas there of that, which were very cool. But thank you, Anthony. I love this. I wear it all the time. My brother, thank you so much. I love it.
So I wanted to ask you about this MHS. I think it's an MHS part. Like I have a few parts that I don't remember where I got them. Maybe my friend gave it to me. So this right here, I'm trying to use this on a saber. The name came to me that I'm thinking, is this a Romans part? Because what I don't understand is, this is a grip section, and this is an MHS part, this is an MHS part. This screws into here on the one side. The other side you see has a...
it has some threading, which looks very shallow.
So this is like one end of an MHS part.
It won't screw in all the way, will it?
Well, it's...
Oh,
it's
it doesn't
not
line
quite
up.
the same.
Okay.
So do you know what that is? Like how to connect?
I would say, well, I would definitely say that is not an MHS part. This little 2 or 1.5 inch coupler looks like MHS.
Yeah, I bought that.
Yes.
And I bought this MHS.
This does not, although I will say that the Custom Saber Shop does have a part that replicates that. So I would say if you're trying to get them to go together, you may as well, you're going to kill yourself trying to get this together. You might as well just spend the money and buy, I think it's about $15.
Yeah, well, I think
that grip
this
section.
one has been
out of stock.
Out of stock for like months and months.
And that actual grip section is what I used as the basis for the crystal chamber on my Star Killer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's
check. I think this would be in this section. Yeah, the rib MHS deep rib section. Is that this is deep?
That's
rib?
not the deep rib. This is what you're talking about. The rib section. The deep ribbed almost has U-shaped grooves, much deeper. I used that on a build one time.
Oh, well, actually, they're stock available right now.
It's a different. Oh yeah, go ahead. But that's it. Now that part, the MHS original part, already has this piece attached to it.
Right.
It's one solid piece, and this piece up here is actually a male part. If you click on one of those pictures,
V-grooved. Let's see what that looks like. V-grooved. Oh, okay. It has those.
See
in it.
the what do you call it? The threads on there are on the outside, where the threads on this are on the inside.
So this must have been one of those like Obi-Wan replicas.
I would say it might be an Obi-Wan replica, not even an Obi-Wan, like a Luke replica, because Obi-Wan had the V grooves in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I need, and they actually, so like, you know, one of the things we're going to talk about was just like TCSS, like we talk about every single time, and just like the state of TCSS. And
love the TCSS shop.
We want to have Tim call in next week, next time we do the show.
That's going to be a neat episode. We're going to start doing some call-in.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a call-in on the show, send Anthony a note. Anthony's going to hook up something where we can have a live speakerphone here. and we're gonna have some calling
Yeah,
people.
like it might have to be like, since it's kind of like I record the show with my iPhone, it might have to be like they call your phone or something, and we'll play
whatever we do.
We'll play it through the speaker.
However we get it to work, yeah.
But yeah, like so Tim called me about 6 months ago. I think
I spoke to him too.
Before after we did the last show.
Yeah.
And you know, I kind of asked him, can we get you to talk for maybe 10 minutes one day? So we're gonna come up with, you know, a couple questions, just some simple questions. I was maybe thinking of, you know, asking him like, how did you come up with MHS system? And maybe he can give us an explanation of where MHS came from, you know, and stuff like that, because that's what we really love. You're making a saber that we want to feature on the next Saber Talk too, if it's ready. It's going to be the Star Killer.
The Star Killer
lightsaber.
I had a setback on it.
Yeah,
it exploded.
You had it working. It was totally awesome, and the inner chassis had an issue, so you've taken it apart. But you know, on one of that'll be good if it's ready on the next time that we do Saber Talk, and Tim calls it at the same time. It's going to be like double MHS fever.
Yeah, it'll be neat. That'll be a neat little segment. So let me. Can I see that part, the second one? I'm going to say something here. This coupler right here. This is actually a male-to-male with a 1/4-inch strip in there. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm taking it off here. This MHS piece. This is my favorite goddamn MHS piece ever made. Because with this piece, it makes your builds so much easier. One of the things I love, and I use this on some of my builds, is by using this piece, okay? Take that piece off there for me. This little coupler, which I think is about $5 or $6 in the notes in there. With this, you're able to lock the chassis discs in between here and here.
Right.
So this enables, what I like to do is, this could be the main part of my saber, maybe the switch grip, the grip with the switches in it, and I can put a chassis disc into here, screw that in, and this will give me the advantage to hold that chassis in there. Then the rest of the chassis sticks down here. So now you have the ability,
maybe into the pommel.
Yeah, you can go right into there with your chassis, and you're able to do a very quick chassis reveal with that part. And I've been using that on a lot of my builds. It's a great part. You got to use your head. One thing I like to do is when I'm working on these parts, I like to pre-test them and pre-fit them with the Saber Builder on TCSS. It gives me ideas, and it's just amazing what you can do with that part for so little, for peanuts. You know what I mean? It just opens up a lot of doors. What does that cost, that adapter? On there? I'm not sure if it's on that page. What page are you on?
Miscellaneous. Oh, extensions.
Yeah, go.
Like a miscellaneous, would it be?
Try.
Adapters. It's probably adapter.
Yes, there it is. How much is it? $8.
$7.
$7. Can't beat it, man. For $7, it just opens up so many doors and so many more options for you.
Yeah.
I don't mind giving my secrets away. This is what we're here for. We're helping out. But I love that part. Yeah. What is that actually called, that part on there?
Double-ended male threaded connector style 1.
There you go. Love it. Love it, Tim. You're a genius.
Yeah, so we are still waiting for bunny ears. We want some of those.
My favorite,
my favorite part is probably the sleeve material.
Shroud material. Sleeve material. Love it. Comes in, what is it, 12-inch sections, 10-inch sections?
12 or 18.
Oh yeah, he's got a newer, larger piece.
I think the last time I got a couple 18s because I just really love working with that. I think it's the best.
Love it. And something else that I've seen you do and I've done is double shrouds. You know, you can do double, triple shrouds, where you can take a piece of shroud material, cut it, and overlay it over another shroud. You know, just makes the builds look amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. Let me ask you guys out there in Saber World or Saberland. I'm thinking of taking some of my copper parts off of here and my shroud work, Met a guy on one of the lightsaber pages on Facebook. The dude's name is Ryan Heller. Awesome at etching.
Oh,
I've been getting a hot nut to maybe etch some of this saber.
that would look crazy.
I'm thinking about just doing the etching maybe on the shroud work,
Just the
on
copper,
just
pieces.
the copper pieces. I want to do the etching so it kind of accentuates the brass bunny ears, so it accentuates the opening for the power level indicator, so
wow.
it accentuates the brass CoverTech clip. So I'm thinking about that. So if you guys want to send a note, let me know what you think. I'm
That's a
thinking
cool
about that.
idea,
I think,
yeah.
you know, I love the etching work, you know.
Yeah.
In the real saber world on Star Wars, I haven't seen many sabers actually etched. You know, unfortunately, we don't get to see the sabers too close up
Yeah.
in the movies, but I haven't really seen some etching. But I mean,
Actually, the only place I think would be Satele Shan's lightsaber, double-bladed lightsaber
That was
from
etched.
the Old Republic trailer, which is that computer-animated trailer. There was etching in. They had some close-ups of that, you
that
know,
was etched, yeah.
and that had some etching in it. But yeah,
Yeah.
other than that,
It really
I don't-
brings the saber
I
out, you
don't
know.
recall. Totally, and especially when you have those different metal colors, I think that doing it on one or the other would bring it out. And those designs are always kind of mind blowing when you see what they'll come up with.
That dude Ryan Heller, I've spoken to him. He's putting some ideas together. He's going to get back to me. He does amazing work. He's got a saber that he just finished. He just posted up, and I can show you later on Facebook. It's just amazing looking, and it's a multicolored saber. It's got the silver, the aluminum, the copper, the brass to it. You know, so it's got that flavor like my saber has a little bit. So I was thinking of maybe going that route.
Yeah, and if anyone's looking for ways to do that, I know there's like different ways to etch, right? There's different like
and as good as Anthony and I are, we haven't tried.
I haven't delved into that, but my buddy Cal at KR Sabers did a video.
He's amazing. He does nice work too.
Shows, you know, the one part of the video that I can relate to was the fact that he went into Illustrator, because that's what I use, Adobe Illustrator in my day job. So he went into Adobe Illustrator, did the design, and then somehow transferred that. I forget how the video exactly went, but you could go to his page.
I think they put it into, at least from what I've heard, they put it into a, do you ever see these vinyl cutting machines? They can make stickers. You see them at all the cons. They make stickers and all different, and they can do different, you know. I think they put it into there, and I think it's a vinyl sticker that they cut, and then they peel off.
Like in college, I remember some different ways that we did etching. Like one was an acid etching.
Yeah, there's different ways.
When it's copper,
salt water,
you can
acid.
actually dip that into. That might be how this person would do it if you send the copper parts. I don't know how, because I think the different metals, there's different ways to do it. If
there's acid, there's copper, different chemicals.
Yeah.
It's pretty fancy work.
Yeah, I would say so, because you know it's very technical when you're dealing with that part that's a custom made part, and now you know you're gonna put some artwork on it. Not only is it gonna take it to the next level, but there's also that small chance of like
screwing it up.
Yeah.
And the guys that I've seen do it are good. I'm sure we should maybe one day get together on a Saturday afternoon and get some kind of, I don't know, get some acid and throw down and have an acid party or something. You know, but yeah. And they also use electricity. They apply electricity. I think small volts, maybe 12 volts of current.
That's what it was,
or electricity
in my class, it was something that the copper went into. We did it on a copper plate, and it was electrified, and something happened in there. Yeah, and it came out.
We should hang out and do some acid in it.
When it came out of that, it was darkened, or it was etched. It was permanently
beautiful work.
in there. Yeah.
Beautiful work. And then if you polish up that etching, and you have the deep grooves that are cut in, and that stays a little dirty, a little grimy, but then the raised areas get polished. Beautiful work.
Very cool.
Beautiful, beautiful work.
I think that'd be great on the copper.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it'll just take nice and make it better. You know, good stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think.
In one of the sabers we have from the sort of marketing world of Star Wars, Black Series Kylo Ren. So this has got, you know, that thick handle like they've done for some reason.
Heavy.
Maybe to hold the batteries.
Heavy. Now, I don't think the original was that large, was it? That's oversized.
I don't know.
I think I've seen the original. The screen used prop was actually.
Oh no, yeah,
smaller.
like the screen use prop was a slender thing, more like the Corban build, I believe.
Very cool looking though, and I'll tell you something else I really like on here. If you look, and this goes back to the weathering on all this stuff that we're talking about. If you see the little nick marks on here, that's really, really cool. That's attention to detail right there. And the way that the metal is taken down, the black paint is worn off on those sections.
And they do have the exterior wire.
The exterior wire, and it is real wire. It's it's movable a little bit. Very cool.
The one thing I like about it is if you flip it off and on, it
goes in sections.
A string, yeah. So for $199 is what my friend said he paid for this. I don't know if they're going for more on eBay.
I've seen these go at Toys R Us for about $1.50.
Okay.
They're the Black Series Sabers.
For that price to have the string with the sound.
Yeah, it's neat how the blade comes on first, and then the
Quylons. Yeah, so I think that's like for the money, for $150 or for $199. You can't get a more complete like Saber package, really.
Have you seen what some guys are doing? These side pieces are actually, I think, just a single LED. I don't think they're actual LEDs. That
flip it on and off again. I think you're right. The other side.
They just come on all
right.
at once. But I've seen guys that are
to be very much the same power level.
Oh, in the movie, these side pieces were like flames shooting out, almost like exhaust coming out of the Batmobile, a flame piece. And I've seen guys use icicle lights that you put on your house and replace this tube with a clear icicle light.
Yeah, I think
very cool. It really gives it that look.
And you would also
said
that. Didn't you say that there was something with like hot glue?
Yeah, a lot of guys are taking the like this is just a flat like a flat translucent tube, and they're taking hot glue and just running strips of hot glue all over the main blade here, and the hot glue gives it that appearance of that like the live fire coming off of the blade that was in the movie.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool. You can look up. That's on YouTube. It takes guts to do that. I mean, even at $150 or $200 prop here, it takes guts, but guys are doing it. And I've seen some guys.
You could do that, right, with the standard. If you had a Kylo Ren with the removable blade, you could. It would only cost you maybe $20 plus the glue.
Right.
If you destroyed that blade, that polycarb tube, it could just be garbage afterwards.
I think it was Shaman was one of the first ones on the forums that gutted one of these and turned it into an LED so you could take the blades out, hang it on your belt.
Okay.
He was one of the first ones, and I believe that TCS, I don't know if they're listed yet, but I believe they're going to make some inserts for these. I'm not sure if they're available yet or not.
Like, what do you mean, for that hilt?
So, like, for this actual hilt.
But that's
just like,
too big, though?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, a lot of the Master Replicas hilts, you just built the Mace Windu saber that you did for somebody, you customized it. Same thing. Did you get the holder? Oh, no, you built your own.
Holder.
You did use the holder from TCSS? You just modified it?
Well, it came with that because it was already converted.
Ah, okay. So you just fit the DIN plug in there.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go, there's a section on TCSS that you can go to where they sell inserts, where once you take this apart, you can put a whole insert in here, and that insert is like an LED holder and a blade holder all in one.
Okay.
And you can put this, and you can make this into a belt hanger, so to speak, that you can then put a blade on. It wouldn't be so much of a string blade now. It's more of an LED, single LED like I make.
Yeah.
But cool nonetheless. You know what I mean? And yes, it is a little oversized, which is a good thing because it gives you a little more room to put stuff inside of it. But that's what, I think that's how Shaman did his. Although he did his before they had the inserts for the inside.
I saw a video that he did, but I think it was that other. It was a Kylo Ren hilt, but by another maker.
One of the other makers.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool stuff. Love it. Love it.
So I'm adding this piece to my cart.
You purchase that right now, huh?
Because it's kind of touch and go sometimes. Like people are hungry for MHS parts, aren't they?
Come on, Tim. We need parts, man.
They can't keep up the demand. It's so It's so
and he's doubled his. He moved into a larger shop. He's doubled his machinery. He's hired staff.
Yeah.
You know, and he's still behind the 8 ball. But You know, God love him. He's the only one doing this. You know,
Yeah.
you can. I mean, look, there's other ways. You know, you can go out and buy master replica hilts.
Actually, as I'm looking, you know, some of the stock is coming back for the blade holders. A lot of the, you know, I would say a quarter of the stuff is back in stock.
Okay.
That's, you know, as far as MHS parts, that's what I look at all the time. I think as far as like batteries and stuff like that, the cards have always been in stock lately.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Have they been keeping up with CF8s?
Yeah, a lot of CF8s have been available. Prisms,
Nano-Biscottis,
Nano-Biscuits 3.0s,
PC4s.
PC4, yes, I believe PC4 is out.
And even the satellite boards, they have the CEX and the
CEX,
but you don't even need those ones for this, like the CF8.
To get into a basic saber, all you need is one of those boards. You know, just depends on, you know, me personally. I find, I mean, everybody says the Nano-Biscuit is a beginner board. I don't know about you, but I think the Nano-Biscuit is actually harder to do than a CF.
I think it's harder to wire up.
Yeah.
Like, well, only because I'm so used to
You're used to doing the CFs,
and I do CF after CF after CF. Then I think when I did your son's Nano-Biscotti was like the first one, or the first or second one I did. If it was the second one, it was a long time, and I thought it was harder than because that's just how it seemed, because I actually had to go and look at the instructions.
Manuals. The Nano-Biscottis, actually, there's a lot less contact pads on it. I think there's 6 or 8 contact pads. And there's actually less buttons to use and less features. But what ends up happening is...
powerful now, though.
Powerful,
color change.
More, but more wires go to single pads. Whereas like a CF, you know, you have like a positive and a negative for your main LED. You have a positive and a negative for the switch. And a couple ground spots that you can go to. Where on the Nano-Biscuit, you know, if you want to do, well, now the new Nano-Biscuit, the 3.0, does have a flash on clash pad to it as well. But you're bringing the negative into the rest of the board negative, you know. Whereas on the CF, you know, if you do a flash on clash, you can bring your negative to here, you can bring your negative to there. So it is, for me, it's actually a little harder to do an ND.
And well, I never saw the CF8 until you brought it over the one day. That's the only one I ever saw. But do they all have the gold contacts?
The ones I'm seeing now all have the silver. It has gold contacts on it.
That's pretty cool.
Silver contacts gives the board a little more pop, a little more show.
It not only looks better, but gold is the best contacting metal for electricity.
Is it real gold, you think?
Well, I thought that's what you said. I
don't know. It's gold colored. I know it's gold. I'm not 100% sure if it's real gold contact.
I thought you said it.
Gold's expensive.
But usually when it's made with electronics, when electronics are made with that, it's such a thin, like gold pad that it's not that much different from whatever other metal it was going to be put there.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I thought maybe it's real gold, which actually has the best conductive or soldering. It's the easiest on that and stuff like that. Best connections.
I want to touch for a minute on actually, we love all sabers and all saber makers, and I don't want to start a flame war, but there are theirs on the internet that have their favorites, and of course my favorite is MHS. But I'm actually in the process. I'm thinking about ordering an empty hilt from Ultra Sabers. They have a really cool, one of their, I guess they call it the Padawan or the beginner sabers. I kind of like it. I like the way it looks.
Is that the one your son has?
No, he has
it's from Ultra Sabers.
It's from Ultra Sabers. It almost looks like the Anakin saber.
I like that. I like the way it looks like the Anakin.
The one that I'm looking at is actually, it's about $35 or $40 for an empty hilt.
Oh.
It actually doesn't look like anything from the movies, and it's more rounded, and it's all rounded. It has some openings in the blade holder. What I want to do is buy that and rebuild it, so to speak. I want to put shrouds on it. I want to put different grips on it, different grip pieces, almost to the point where when you look at it, you're not going to see it. Yeah, it's not recognizable as an Ultra Sabers. But just goes to show you, I mean, you can take anything. I mean, like I've brought here in the past, I brought plumbing pipe sabers that I turned in, and people put electronics in them. You know, if you want to start working with shroud material, PVC is awesome. PVC, I have a couple just junk PVC sabers at home. That PVC, you can get like 10 foot of it for $1.50, I think, and you can just cut it up. and you can grind on it. Make sure you wear a mask. You don't want to breathe that PVC dust. But you can grind on it. You can cut it into shapes and angles. And there's couplers and connectors that you can push together. And go to Home Depot, man. If you want to build sabers and you don't have a lot of money, like even this is $200, you know? And I know I've talked to a lot of kids out there that are, 15, 16, and they want to build sabers. And they can't afford $200, you know? They might not be working. They're school kids. PVC, man, for $10, I've seen people build an amazing, and some paint, an amazing saber. PVC, a little paint.
I also think, if you need to go on a budget, try to look for one of those used boards, like a Petit Crouton 2.0. You can usually go, I see them go for like $45. Yeah. And it's just so cool to have, like, that's power, because like that's like a little baby CF from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I actually sold one to a buddy of mine, Jason. Hi, Jason. Jason Rayner. Hi, Jason.
Or an old CF, like a CF5 is one of my favorite boards. It's so powerful. 6 sound fonts. All the best features are in a CF.
Yeah.
And it's, if you're looking for that like Luxion style single LED lightsaber, and you could add Flash on Clash to the CF5, excellent sound quality and all that stuff, and probably for less than $100, maybe less than $90. If you're on the forums, if you're looking, like that was kind of something I wanted to bring up, and I don't even know how to say it, if it's a question or what, but it's almost like what's going on with the saber world, because it seems like the forums are less people on the forums and more people on Facebook, and I'm like kind of not caught up yet on getting to Facebook. I try to make a Facebook page.
You
and
mostly
I
have
never,
on the Saber
get
Forums
on
page.
There. Yeah, so
and I'm mostly on Facebook.
Like,
well, you just have to learn Facebook. You know what I mean? And Facebook is relatively easy. Once you there's Saber pages, and
that's a group though, right? Do you have
it's
to
a group.
Be invited?
Yeah,
into
well,
the group?
not invited. You once you see on it, like you could search it in the search bar on Facebook. Once you see, like, type in on your search bar on Facebook,
lightsabers.
Type in lightsabers, and it'll give you a bunch of listings, and you find one that you find is interesting, and you just click the like button or the thumbs up button, and what'll happen is that will start coming into your news feed every day. Like if somebody else in another part of the world makes a post on that page, it'll come up and you'll see it. And there are,
is
some
there
of these
different
pages.
Sections within that?
No,
page?
It's all one thing, and it's all different groups.
So it's like time. It's like 9:45 a.m. This post next.
It comes up like people post what they post, and it just sits on that page. And then if I'm like, let's say I'm on a break at my job and I open up Facebook, Facebook will give me a feed of people that are friends of mine.
Finished builds of
and those
people.
People post on there. I'm looking to buy. I'm selling. Here's something I'm working on, and it's very easy to post pictures. You just take a picture and it'll shoot it right into Facebook. But it just gives you those feeds, and then people it's almost like a thread, if you will. You can talk to people in real time. I'll type something in like nice job, great looking saber, and then they'll post in, thanks man, I've seen your work, I like your work, and then I'll type under his, and it becomes like a thread, just like on the Saber Forums.
Yeah, because it's like I've been noticing on the forums that it seems like less people are online at a time, but at the same time,
a lot of people are hanging out on Facebook.
Yeah, because at the same time, I know that sabers are more popular than ever. So I'm thinking like,
here's
where's
the
all
other
the
thing
saber friends? Like,
here's the other thing you got to keep in mind
Facebook,
too.
I guess.
People come and go. You and I were diehards. People come and go. People get into the hobby. They build a saber or two. They get bored with it. They let it go. They move on.
Maybe something happens. They have kids, and then they can't.
Things happen,
or whatever. Yeah.
Me, for example. One of the reasons we haven't gotten together in a while. I had a family member that was very ill. He passed away about a month ago. My father-in-law. Very tough time, but I haven't had a lot of time. We were caring for him. He was home while he was ill. We were caring for him, so a lot of my time and my money kind of was focused on family. And you know what I mean? And even though, like, it was my father-in-law, my wife would go to his house, and, like, I'd be home. I have kids. My kids aren't exactly little. My son will be 12 in a few weeks. Happy birthday, Devin. He'll be 12. We're taking him to a baseball game. My daughter's 16. But, they come and go. My son plays sports. My daughter's a very social butterfly. So she's learning to drive now. So I'm either with her when she's driving or I'm driving her.
Mm.
She also worked at Sesame Place. I don't know if you've heard. I'm sure you've heard. Never heard of Sesame Place? It's like a theme park,
Okay.
and it's only about 10 minutes from where I live. So
right.
she was working there.
You told me,
yeah, she was working there over the summer. So I was constantly driving her to Sesame Place and driving her back. And I still work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And I play in a band. And everybody always says to me, "Where the hell do you find time to do this?" It's not easy, you know.
Yeah.
That's why it's been a few months since we've gotten together. It's been tough.
Yeah.
But we're here. Saber Talk lives.
Yeah, I would love to do a a couple more, obviously before Halloween. But if we could maybe get our get-ups on for Halloween,
I would love nothing more than do a Halloween episode. Come here in my lightsaber cab.
Cool.
That'd be cool as shit.
Yeah, like I think the only thing I need to have a complete costume is maybe get some boots, and that I'd be set because I got the belt, I got the saber, and then all you need is pants. I got the cloaks and stuff like that people gave me. So
nice.
I think that'd be a Jedi
nice.
outfit.
You're gonna have to do me a favor though. If we do a Halloween episode, I don't know about you, but I sweat really bad. And you got to put this house to like 55 degrees. Because I'll be sitting here and I'll be like this. And the sweat will be like...
That's true. Like once
it's
I get
heavy.
talking,
it's heavy,
I
man.
start,
it's heavy
I start
here.
Sweating too. And I know Gabe has a really awesome Superman costume that he was sending me pictures of. So if he came in the Superman or whatever costume.
Again, it's Saber Talk, but we have other interests.
Saber, yeah.
It's all good.
Anything comic book, Star Wars, space related, Star Trek, it's all good because we really love props. Sabers are just our favorite prop. But like we said at the beginning, once you get into sabers, you're not stopping there. I'm going to use a CFLS. I think I told you about, or I said it on the show one time, where I'm gonna. It still hasn't been started, but it's gonna be a gauntlet.
I saw it. You showed it.
Where it's gonna be a wire coming out. It's gonna have a CFLS and a short, sort of like a short hilt, because the CFLS will be in there, and the battery packs and all that could be in the gauntlet connected with a wire, and that could be unpluggable and stuff like that. And it could also have blaster effects and different things like that.
Very cool.
Develop a costume that kind of like Darth Vader's, that has a lot of lights,
and a lot of blinky things, and a lot part of robot, of course.
Yeah, and you know what about Darth Vader's costume that I always loved? If I could ever get my hands on some of that material that's like the pocketed leather.
Very nice.
I don't know
the
what
rib,
it's called.
It's like rib.
Yes.
Yeah, it has the seams. Yeah, very cool. Well, I'll touch on something. I just watched your video on your Mace Windu saber that you did, and one of the things that I thought goes above and beyond is that rubber piece on the back. You said you were having some trouble with it; it was cracking, and you went out and you found some incredible alligator skin pattern.
Yeah, that was cool.
On that saber, it just really looked awesome. You said at one point, you're like, yeah, the alligator skin. I'm like, no, that's Rancor skin, man. I was like, awesome, dude. It looked killer on that. I did not get to see that. I saw the saber before. I did not get to see it finished before you shipped it to the owner, but very cool looking saber.
Yeah,
very nice.
That actually started a different leather piece there, but it wasn't working as well as I wanted, so I went and got the
very nice piece. I wanted to throw a little leather on mine. As you guys know, my grip section right here is actually real leather.
Yes.
And that's what did I use? I used E6000 to put that on there. It's just a nice, really strong glue. What did you use to put that leather on there?
I had a I don't know what the name of it was, but it's a fabric and leather glue, and it was supposed to adhere to metal, wood, or plastic, or anything. Nice. But the cool part about that was it only had to adhere on a few sides, on 3 of the sides, because the top and a couple of the the neck part actually gets crimped down by the installation of the emitter.
Gotcha.
So when you turn the emitter on, that
actually
would normally,
is inside.
Yeah, that would normally the rubber had a rib. So when I removed the rubber, there was that space where the rib was. I was able to press to actually tuck that in, so it's actually form fitted at the top. Nice. It only has to be connected at the
nice.
two
Great job on that saber.
Thanks.
I'm sure the owner's very happy with it.
I hope so. Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work.
Cool one.
Very cool, man.
Yeah. You got your saber operational?
Yeah, well, I just don't have a blade on it. But we're running. We're up and running here.
Because I actually wanted to...
There you go. I forget what sound font that is.
This is your destiny.
That sounds cool.
This is the Force. No, this is one of the Star Killers. What was the game?
Force Unleashed.
The Force Unleashed.
2 or
Call of Rage or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get it to do that again. It's Vader and using the saber when you push different buttons. Vader kind of gives you little side notes.
Yeah, I remember. I have this sound font.
Yeah. So
I remember
I'll
those.
light them up.
Actually, I was thinking we could go out back and have like a little mock duel thing.
Let's do it. You hear Vader?
That was some quotes.
That's him
there.
talking. Yeah.
That's cool.
You are weak, broken. I will break you.
That's a cool one.
Love it.
You'll have to kill me this time.
That's a Star Killer.
Feelings for the woman have made you weak.
Feelings for a woman?
Maybe it said that. Yeah.
Rise above this. She means nothing.
She means nothing.
Yeah.
Star Killer could not kill me. What hope do you have?
Oh, he's the
The
clone.
clone.
This ends now.
Is that by Lord Blako? Who did that one?
I'm not sure who did it. It might be Blako. Yeah, it might be a Blako font.
You are a fool to face me alone.
Yeah, that was cool. That's the
That's like
that's when they
he
throw
threw
the
it at him,
sabers.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you wish to play at
The,
being a Jedi, so be it.
This font actually, and I'm still learning all the fonts too. This font actually works off the blaster block button. Each time you
I will always be your master.
hit the button, it gives you a couple
Always
close.
be a slave. If now you will feel the true power of the dark side. You are a fool to face me alone. I will always be your master. Now you will feel the true power of the dark side.
Love it.
What about the like the Force effect?
Let me see if I can get it to do it.
If you wish to play at being a Jedi, so be it. You are a fool to face me
Sure, we
alone.
get it.
I will always.
Let's see if we,
I'll kill you myself.
there's different ones when it clashes. Does that flash when it clashes yellow?
Yeah.
I like that.
Red LEDs.
Oh, really? So red and the green make the yellow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You'll have to kill me this time.
I can't get it to force.
Now,
That's not.
I will always. If you wish to play, you are
I can't get it to
Yeah.
force.
face me alone.
It's hard to do that sometimes. They usually happen by accident.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by for another Saber Talk. This is actually episode 10. And we will be back next time for either an insider episode or another one of these, Saber Talk 11. So,
Little surprise. I had told you we may start doing some episodes from my house. We are. I'm turning my basement into a man cave, which is what Anthony has here, an amazing man cave. And we're gonna maybe do some episodes from my spot.
that'll be great.
So yeah, it'd be cool. Be cool too. See what I got going on my end of the world. Awesome episode. Awesome talking to you.
Yeah.
Had a great
Talking
time.
to you too.
High five. Love
This
it.
has been another Saber Talk. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.